All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We are live with the Provoke Coach podcast. And I really have a special friend with me on our show today that, look, we go way back. I mean, we go way, way back to, childhood days. I remember having, this gentleman at my birthday party. We were playing, pin the tail on the donkey. We went to Chuck E. Cheese, which Showbiz Pizza it was back in the day. But I have a gentleman that is just an awesome dude all around. J. Ryan Berends, thank you so much for coming on our show today, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, there's going to be a lot of people that know who you are and know what you do. And really, they know, maybe more stories than even I do, because we haven't really, got a chance to connect, really close recently. So,
right.
But I want you to tell your story today. I want you to tell us, some provoking times that you had along the way, but who are you and, where you come from and all the kind of cool details in between.
All right. Well, I'll do my best. We'll see how this goes here. But, yeah. So, Clinton and I went to high school together, and even before that, like you said, as kids grew up kind of right around the corner from each other. And when you go to a small school like we did, everybody knows everybody hangs out with everybody. There's not a lot of separation amongst cliques. So everyone's kind of bunched together. And, back then I didn't really do anything really with music. I loved music, but I think I had a fear. I always knew I could sing, but I never really pursued it back then, peer pressures and different things like that. From, being in school, it's like you don't ever really pursue some of those things. So after high school, I just kind of manned up, I suppose, and kind of started chasing some of those dreams of, playing music with friends and doing different things like that. And got in with a couple guys locally that just started jamming in the basement, basically. And I didn't play an instrument at the time, and I just singing with them and kind of learning. And then as things went possibly forward, I picked up the guitar and learned how to play that a little bit. And then kind of fast forward, through different bands and stuff throughout the years that I've done, been a part of, been involved with a few different churches and stuff like that, doing worship stuff, and just a plethora of different things that led me to the point that I'm at now, where I'm basically working with a group of guys. We started a little production company called Brain Cage Productions, where we're kind of gonna expand more into like doing event planning and weddings and different things like that. But of course, we started that right as the pandemic hit. Nobody's doing any events in person right now for the last year and a half. So really, we've been at a standstill. We've been at a standstill until very recently, and we're kind of getting things going with that. So
nice.
So
that's fantastic.
Real fast version of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't mind, lots
of things in between.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, like I said, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you some questions about that because, I think, you're right. I mean, if we go back in time a little bit to our school days, is that, I knew you as somebody that had, a pretty talented family when it came to music. I know your dad plays, a little bit, and you were kind of growing up around it a little bit, but I never knew you to play an instrument or really even sing. I mean, I knew you love music. I mean, who doesn't, in high school, you just, every fad that comes around, you just, you kind of follow it and love it and breathe it, especially then, right? Versus now. But what kind of started sparking this? I mean, you said it was fear. So was it overcoming that fear because it was something that kind of gave you a little bit more passion? How did that all work out? All right, we may have lost you there for a second. All right, looks like Jay Ryan will be jumping right back on here for a second. Or you just didn't like my question, which is not true. I know we were going through some internet issues prior to jumping on, so we'll wait for him to jump back on here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, looks like he'll be getting on here in just a second. Go ahead and get everybody going here. I appreciate everybody's patience. As you know, technology doesn't always work in our favor, so. While we're waiting, if there's anybody that is watching currently right now, go ahead and comment. Let me know that you are on and you are still with us while we're waiting for Mr. Berends to jump on. All right. Give you guys just something to read here. Jay's getting back on as we speak. So he just sent me a message over there. If you guys want some more details here on the habit hack, it'll be coming up here shortly. Looks like over the next couple of days, we're going to go ahead and be releasing the habit hack. So I can't wait to help all of you. If you guys want some more information on that, go ahead and send it to me. All right, here we go.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm back.
Hey, that's all right. That was like a commercial break, right? That was a commercial break. No big deal. Yeah, it was planned. That's right. That's all right. No worries.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it doesn't matter. I'm not Joe Rogan, so we'll edit that
Not
part
yet,
out.
anyway, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess the question that I had for you, Jay, is that, nobody really knew that you were, I mean, we knew you were into music, but really you didn't, you weren't speaking out about your talent. What really kind of sparked that? You were talking about fear earlier and you kind of manned up. What happened?
I don't know any one particular thing that happened other than the fact that I saw some of my peers that were doing it, and I thought, hey, I don't want to sit there and watch them doing it, right there in front of me when I know that that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So at the time, my ex-brother-in-law, he was in a band, and they were looking for someone to sing, and so I was just like, well, this is my chance. I got to do that because I would be upset at myself if I didn't. And so that's kind of how that started.
Yeah.
And like I said, in high school, it was just always one of those things. I think just never really pursued it. One of those things I was scared to do, maybe.
Right.
Just it was pretty challenging to step out and just do that in front of everyone. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Especially
Oh,
when
yeah.
nobody knew exactly that's what that you were trying to do. Nobody knew that, it was just something that was inside of me, that I knew. So, but yeah,
Right.
so just basically overcoming that initial fear of doing it, is
Yeah.
really what got me started. Yeah.
I mean, were you really performing behind closed doors, like just not in front of people? I mean, did you really know, like, damn, I got some chords, like I kind of hit that right? Like, I mean, were you kind of thinking that growing up, but you just never really got around to letting anybody know? Or
exactly right. Yep. I would sing in the car. I would sing in the car, and I knew I could sing. I'm like, I can sing. I know I can, but I never, back in school, it's like, what was your options? Join the choir, maybe find some other dudes that want to be in a band, but it's like, really very limited. And so, so really just, I knew growing up that that's something I could do, wanted to do, and I just finally did it,
That's amazing because, everybody kind of has something that is truly their passion. Like you said,
right.
like you were doing this for you really all this time. But like you said, maybe there wasn't the right outlets, there wasn't the right, guidance or direction that really kind of pointed you in the right direction, in that regards, in the first place, but you knew you had something there. Now, did that stem from, your family? Because I know you got some talented, family members that know music. I mean, did the apple not fall from the tree, or how did that all work out?
I think, yeah. Well, like we had music going in my house from the day I was born. I mean, it was records, it was, CDs. I mean, I think my dad might have been the first person to own a CD player, in Michigan. It was like when it came out, he straight out and bought it, and we had music going all the time. So it was one of those things I always was. I was surrounded by it. And my dad plays guitar, and to be honest, I feel like kind of like my dad re-embraced guitar and singing and stuff after I did. Like he
Yeah.
saw me doing it, and he kind of got back into it. When I was real little, though, I do remember him, playing and teaching me some different little things here and there. But it was just one of those things I never stuck with it.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't have the drive that I needed back then to really stick to it. So, but yeah, definitely, my dad, my stepmom plays piano, so we've
Yeah.
always kind of been around that sort of stuff. So yeah, for sure.
Right. Exactly. And I guess for you, what drives you now? So now that you found this, and now you're fast forwarding because you've done gigs, you've done free gigs, you've done paid gigs, you've done contracts, you've done a lot of different things. What is that motivating factor for you now? You said you didn't have the drive before to pursue it, so what is it now?
It is out of pure love for doing it. That is why I do it. I love to do it. It's nice to get paid, but I mean it's a lot of work for the amount of money I get paid. And that's kind of why we are doing the event planning and different things like that, trying to encompass more of a thing just to make it more lucrative, I guess. But the long and short of it is, yes, it's basically that I love. That's the reason I want to do it. That's the reason I do it. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and I don't know. It's just one of those things that I can't.
Yeah, so obviously the love for it. I mean, you got a passion for it. It's just one of those things that right now absolutely compels you, from your heart. But you're right. You're looking at the business aspect of it as going, wow, I love it, but I am putting in a lot of effort. I am putting in a lot of work. And that's just, look, I think every entrepreneur, I think every business owner goes through that, and I think artists go through that, at certain periods of their time as well. Now, what does the future essentially look like, for you and your company when you're talking about growing? Where do you guys see yourself in like 5-10 years?
You kind of broke up there. I'm not sure if I heard you correct, but I think if I was where I kind of see things going 5 years from now.
Yes, correct. Yep.
I really hope that we can get Brain Cage kind of up and running to the point where we are encompassing other musicians, group of musicians that can kind of facilitate any need that a person might have for their event. whether that be a jazz trio or a rock band or a DJ. Or various different things that kind of are involved with the in addition to that would be tables and chairs and those sort of things that we're trying to basically working with that. So kind of just, across our band itself, but basically trying to facilitate various different things that events.
Okay. Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit, but I think, we heard really kind of the main parts that you really wanted to, create more than just obviously a gig here or there, but a plethora of different types of gigs and services, to where really, I don't want to say a one-stop shop, but people can come to your company and really kind of get whatever they need from a basis of that live entertainment and that setup and that celebration that people really want, right? Without going to various different vendors for kind of really that setup, correct? I mean, did I hear that correct?
That correctly. Yep. That was exactly what we were thinking, is try to be more of a one-stop shop for events, entertainment wise.
Got it. Got it. So, okay.
A million different types of events and a million different types of things that people want when they're planning their events, weddings and different things like that. But we're trying to be more of a cap to.
Okay, looks like we're having a couple more internet issues here. We lost you there for a second, Jay. I don't know if you're still on. All right. Can you hear me all right? Still there, Jay? All right, guys, we'll go ahead and try just one more time here. If not, we're going to have to postpone, but let's check it out. You're sort of coming through.
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear me all right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, you're going pretty slow and it's going in and out, but All right, looks like we lost him again here. We'll see if he jumps back on. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting pretty juicy as well. Tony, what's going on, brother? Sorry, we're waiting for Jay to jump back on. We see you, though. I appreciate you watching. See if we can get Mr. Berends back on here. All right.
All right, let's try one more time, I guess, huh?
Yeah, this could be it. Let's give it a shot. Well, I think that, and I guess I'll recap here a little. Yeah, you can hear me good?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So, I guess I'll kind of just, recap and just let me know if I heard you correctly, and I'll, kind of fill everybody in. Is that, obviously, you guys are putting this together for, sounds like long-term growth. I mean, it sounds like, really a 5-10 year plan, to really conquer, I guess that one-stop shop for your production needs, from everything from larger, events and, arenas. I mean, are you talking about really getting into, some monster, venues and stuff like that? Or is this just really in the thinking phase now?
Yeah, I think it's really in the thinking phase. I mean, it's really just the whole the last half is really put a damper on everything. We are working on right now just some like promotional videos, stuff like that to try to spread the word. And with that become other various things like sound and lighting and all of those sort of things are included. So maybe growing that sort of stuff, purchasing sound equipment, lights, and having engineers help us with all things that we're doing right now. Long term, who knows? I mean, who knows where this could go? Right now, our focus is kind of just weddings, and smaller events and stuff like that. But obviously, the sky's the limit with that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in probably, I mean, I could just imagine if everybody feels the way that I do, is that you want to go out and you want to, you want to go to parties, you want to go to concerts, you want to go to events. I want to go and just be around people. I don't even care what we're talking about or what we're doing at this point, because everybody's been locked up for the last year. You guys are really going to now skyrocket business wise. That's going to be super exciting for you guys. I mean, you guys are going to be just ultra busy in that regard. Now, so are you still doing then? Are you still doing shows, for your band and everything like that as well? I mean,
yep. we've kind of we pulled back obviously because of COVID.
Sure.
Pre-pandemic, we had probably about 30 shows a year or so, 35 with the band. And then I had probably 5 to 10 solo that I did myself. So I mean, it's almost an every week thing where we were doing gigs. Now we've kind of cut back. Obviously, I think we maybe did 5 last year.
Right.
Mostly outdoor stuff. I have a feeling that the band is probably going to get very, very busy this fall, this winter.
Oh yeah.
And is going to lend itself into all the other things as well, you know. So.
Yeah. Well, and I guess, I'll ask you, I've had, quite a few different types of artists on, especially recently. Has this been a time to where everybody, I mean, it sounds like everybody is like you. So, you guys are artists as well. Are you guys creating during this downtime? Are you creating? Is everybody else creating? Are we really, taking advantage of this downtime to really kind of put some things together for the future?
Yeah, I know we were in the midst of, basically being locked down and not doing much of anything. I was working pretty diligently with learning, like recording different things, working on some studio recordings and that sort of thing, just trying to kind of learn. It's such a never ending thing. I mean, you can never stop learning. That's just keeps coming and coming. And work with a few people that obviously know a lot more than I do, just to try to kind of bounce things off them and have them teach me different things. That was my main thing while I was home locked up. I know that a lot of the other guys were writing music, doing various different so yeah, definitely everyone kind of reverted back to their inner self and seclusion, and just kind of, I think, did what they felt good at the time, for sure.
Right, exactly. Well, and I guess, for you, and I want to kind of, kind of take it for, you're not just an artist. I know that you've built a business recently as well as an entrepreneur, and you have other things going on. And I guess for the people that are listening right now, you've chased your passion. I mean, that's, nobody can take that away from you. But it hasn't been easy, I'm sure, right? Because you're juggling, it sounds like, a lot of stuff now, even during the downtime. And it's even going to get more and more and more. What's that like? What kind of advice can you have for people that,
Yeah. The biggest thing is just trying to prioritize what is important, what needs to be done, what can wait. Graduating high school, you said, another friend of ours and I started a business in the construction industry. That's been going crazy. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And I guess the only advice I have to say is just surround yourself with good people who will support you. My wife supports me doing basically anything that I want, which is awesome. And then and my kids and everybody around is very, very supporting. Surround yourself with good people and prioritize what's important to you, what needs to happen now, what can wait. Been the way I've been living is just trying to, conquer all the things each week as they come.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And that's good advice too, because, you know, surrounding yourself with good support. Like, could you imagine if your wife or your kids were like, yeah, dad, okay, sure, yeah, whatever it is that you want to do, they weren't supportive really and really backed you up, you wouldn't really be able to do the things that you're doing now. I got to believe that. Why? Because they would really force you to do something else. So,
No.
that's a powerful statement that you made, there, especially with chasing your dreams. I mean, do you have any, I guess, advice for somebody if they are kind of struggling with this, they need a kick in the butt, or they need to, really pursue something that they know that they're extremely talented at, what would you tell them?
I didn't quite hear all of that, but I think you asked advice for someone who maybe needs help getting going, getting motivated. Um,
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know on a question, because for me, it's it's came at me to the point where I'm fielding instead of I'm kind of reacting to everything. You put yourself into a position where um, you create a lot of things coming at yourself, to field all of that. So the motivation for me was just there out of the love of doing it. Um, I think that if you're dated, maybe you need to reevaluate what it is you're chasing. You need to have something that you're chasing that you love, something
Yeah.
that is your passion. I think that maybe is the biggest factor of why someone might not be motivated.
Yeah, I think people get motivated, for either pain or
I hope.
pleasure. And yeah, you did answer that question. I know that we're, kind of struggling with service and hearing each other, but we're getting through it, which is awesome. I can't wait to do a part two. Right? But I think, it is interesting, that your passion
Yeah.
took a that your passion really kind of took a while to kind of fester inside of you, right? And then when it came out on fire, and that's something to be, proud of. It didn't happen right away. Like, look, I mean, heck, I reinvented myself in my late 30s, right? To do something totally different than I was really super comfortable with, right? And I think a lot of us go through that at different times. And that's pretty interesting, kind of how you put that. And, I'm definitely, taking some notes. So I'm glad that, we recorded some good stuff, throughout the mix, of this back and forth, man. But that's fantastic, man. I gotta let you know that, I'm super proud of you. And
Yeah.
I know that, a lot of people back from where we come from, you know, they're very proud of you as well. And, it took me a while before I followed you to understand that you were a talented artist. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. So he's doing that. And, it's almost like you're swinging through your phone and scrolling, but then you're hearing, and I think that audio for me is a big thing because I love music. Not very good at it, but I love hearing it, right? It's one of those things that brings me back in time. And I heard you singing like I don't know, it was like a late 90s alternative rock song. And I don't know which one it was, but I was like, holy shit, Jay Ryan is fucking good. Excuse my French. I'm like, oh my God, that sounded fantastic. So then I got hooked, right? And then I went and listened to pretty much, and I'm like holding the phone up to my daughter's ear. I'm like, you want to hear a rock star? I know this guy, right? And she's like, oh wow, he's actually pretty good, And I'm like, yeah, hello. Your dad does know some cool people for God's sakes, right? So, but we're all proud of you, man. And we can't wait to see where you're going. I mean, and this is just
Well,
like, it sounds to me like, yeah, it sounds to me like a platform, like you're taking off. I mean, your companies are taking off, your businesses are taking off, and you know, that's absolutely fantastic, man. And you seem
yep.
grounded, you know, which is more important. You know, I mean, you can't be like a real rock star and get crazy with, you know, groupies and, you know, sex, drugs, and alcohol, right?
Right.
At least that's a good thing you didn't do it in your
Yeah,
20s then, or, you know, or even earlier than that,
that's
right?
that's very true.
Now you're too old for that crap, right? You know, that's
But yeah, yeah, like you said, inventing yourself in your 30s, and I'm starting business in my 40s, so it took
yeah.
a lot of time to get here, but here we are, and I appreciate all the kind words, and thank you very much for that, and thanks for having me on here, all that stuff, and you know, I appreciate it big time, man.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And we'll have to do it again. We'll have to, you know, we'll have to give the fans, you know, maybe we'll get, you know, your team on. I definitely want to get you and Lee on, you know, and talk to you guys about your entrepreneurship and your business that you're building together. So that'll probably be this summer sometime. I'll try to keep it away from the holidays, and you know, we'll definitely get everybody on, man. But
Yeah,
we're following you. Everybody's listening and we're watching. So I definitely appreciate you being on. And you know, sorry about the internet service situation. I don't know if it's on my side or yours or whose ever. It doesn't matter. We got through it, and we got some awesome nuggets from you. So I definitely appreciate that. And then just stick around for a second in the studio here, and we'll go ahead and stop today's live broadcast. I appreciate everybody's patience. Thank you for everybody that commented, and we'll try to get it all downloaded on iTunes and everything like that. And I'll cut out myself talking to myself in the recording. So I'll go ahead and get that edited out. Thank you so much.